This is a Porsche 911, and to anybody that's not familiar with this legendary sports car, they would probably dismiss it as just that, another 911. But that would be a mistake, because this is a 992 Porsche 911 Turbo S, or in other words, the fastest 911 ever made. So in today's video, I want to get a better understanding of what exactly that means. So I'll look at the exterior design, interior design, and actually I'm going to take it out for a very quick road test and find out exactly what all of the hype is about. Because based on what I've read, there's really nothing like this on the road. And at the end of the video, we'll find out which of the Car Cave crates it fits into. I want to take a second to talk about the Turbo badge. It originated in 1975 with the 930 generation of the 911. It was debuted at the Paris Motor Show, and it's kind of been part of the 911 family ever since. But back then, having a turbo badge meant that your car was turbocharged. If it didn't have a turbo badge, it was naturally aspirated. That really changed with the 991.2 generation of this car. Most 911s, most Porsches in general actually, are turbocharged now with the select few exceptions like the GT3 or the GT4, cars of that nature. So having the turbo badge now really just means it's the fastest trim out of whatever model lineup, and this being the 911, it's the fastest of the bunch. There are some notable differences between the Turbo S and the standard Carrera, for example. You've got a different front bumper, you have carbon ceramic brakes as standard. Turbo S's also have this vent just behind the doors for some additional cooling. They have a different rear bumper and this bespoke Turbo S wing, which extends or retracts based on what speed you're going. Turbo S's are slightly longer, they are slightly wider, very slightly higher, and also 300 pounds heavier. I wouldn't worry too much about that added weight because this has a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat six, and it produces 640 brake horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. Now, this being the Turbo S, it does drive all four wheels via exclusively Porsche's new 8-speed PDK system. All of this means that it does 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. Now, that's the figure that Porsche offers. Motor Trend actually got a hold of one of these, did their own tests, and their car did 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. That is insanely fast. If I had to put a list together of cars that this was faster than, it'd be a really long list. And it would include cars like the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. It'd have things like the Ferrari F8 Tributo, the Koenigsegg Regera, even the McLaren Speedtail. Those are some serious performance cars, and this beats them all. That's only made more impressive by the fact that you need to consider this is really a 911 at its core, so you get a lot of the creature comforts that you would expect from a standard Carrera. You're not really having to compromise all that much by going for the Turbo S. It also weighs more than all of those other cars, it has less power than any of them, and crucially, it's cheaper. The Turbo S has a starting MSRP of $216,100, something thereabouts, and that's a lot of money. I'm gonna acknowledge that straight away. But compared to some of the other cars that we mentioned, it's not that much money. It's actually pennies. The F8 Tributo is $70,000 more. The SVJ is double the money. The Regera and Speedtail, those cars are in the millions. And let's not forget, those are all very hardcore supercars and hypercars with almost no daily usability. At the end of the day, this is still a 911, and you're gonna get all of the goodness that you would expect from a 911 Carrera in this Turbo S. I actually did a video talking about how the 911 is a great daily driver, so I will leave a link in the description below if you want to check that out, or click the pop-out banner as another option. This has a lot of the same features that you would expect from a standard Carrera. The seats are really comfortable, it's easy to get in and out of. You still have the 2+2 seats in the rear. You're not really sacrificing much on that front. I think the frunk luggage space is like 0.1 cubic feet less in the Turbo S, but it's really nothing that you're gonna notice. Overall, it's still a very usable car. I think it's a little bit less good on gas, but it's way, way faster. And to find out how much faster, let's go ahead and take it out for a quick spin. It feels like every other 911, more so now I think because 992s are all turbocharged as well, so the throttle response is very similar to a base Carrera, Carrera S and that sort of thing. You just kind of have that looming presence of having so much more power available to you. But again, one of the really important and I think valuable aspects of this car is its familiarity. If you've driven a 992 before, you're not really gonna feel like you're driving anything overly extreme. And to some people that might be a downside, but for me, I think it's a positive quality, because when I'm driving this car, I wanna be focused on driving the car and enjoying it. I don't wanna be overwhelmed and constantly cringing inside of the car, worried because it feels so vastly different than something that I'm used to. But then of course you always have the knowledge in the back of your head that you have 640 brake horsepower at your disposal. Oh my God, yeah. This is, oh my God. This is not like anything else. This is a whole different experience driving this car. And if you're looking for something fast, you should be looking at the Turbo S, because there's really nothing faster, unless you're willing to spend millions of dollars on a Bugatti Chiron or something, which I should remind you is just as fast. It's not any faster. And that thing has 900 horsepower more, 2 additional turbochargers, and it's really just gonna be keeping up. It's not gonna be beating the Turbo S. And how often are you really gonna be driving a Chiron? You can drive this every single day. And if you can afford to get one, you should drive it every single day, because this is a really special, special car to drive. So there you have it. The 911 Turbo S may be an expensive car, but it justifies its price with its performance. I mean, this thing is making multi-million-dollar cars sweat at a set of traffic lights. If you want to be the head honcho on the road, the Turbo S is the car for you. It's insanely fast, it's comfortable, it's very well refined. So what I really want to do is find out which of the Car Cave crates it fits into. Collectible, maybe not so much, because again, this isn't really a limited car. If you're looking for a collectible Porsche, you want a Turbo S, I would maybe look into something like a Sport Classic. They only made 1,250 of those. Those are fantastic. Daily drivability, I would say 100% all day long. You can drive one of these. It's a great weekend car. I would track it if you can afford to. It is a Porsche. And of course, if you do have the money, there's really no reason to avoid a car like this. But that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. A huge thank you to a friend of mine, George, for loaning me this car. I will leave links in the description below to his social media. If you are in the market for something like this, or really any exotic, definitely check him out and reach out. He can help you find what you're looking for. Leave me a comment below with your thoughts on the 911 Turbo S, and of course use it as a platform to share your 911 stories. I love reading those when I do find the time. Like and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.